$5. Let's go. Oh, hey, guys. Oh, we're almost a millionaire now. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Boston Chris podcast. It is Nick Brumley week here on the show. And, man, I'm so stoked to chat with my old buddy Nick from... I've known Nick since... like 2016. It's been almost 10 years, and just one of my favorite songwriters, always has been. So much feel and emotion in his art, and so excited to get to chat with him again here on the show. We did talk to Nick years and years and years ago on my old podcast, ETX Rock, so it's always cool to catch up with old friends, especially ones that are as talented as Nick Brumley is. I have homework for y'all, though. If you guys could hit that like button down below, wherever you're watching from, and perhaps choose to give me a subscribe or a follow. That would be really nice. And also, I'd love for you guys to comment down below wherever you're tuning in to this podcast from. That would really help me out a lot. We're really excited to chat with Nick, who, of course, grew up in Marshall, in the Shreveport area, really sowed his oats in that area of the world, and of course moved out to Hamilton. Met and fell in love with Presley Haile. We talk about that in the show. But really, it's all about Nick Brumley here on the show. What makes him tick, where he got his art from, all of that stuff. We're really excited you guys are here to listen to the story and probably the most in-depth, candid conversation ever with the singer-songwriter Nick Brumley. Let's get into it.
It's time to jam. It's time to mingle. It's time to see what everyone's drinking. It's time to jam. It's time to mingle. It's time to see what everyone's drinking. Until we all lose connection.
Hey guys, this is Clint Alford. Thank you guys so much for watching the Boston Chris Show.
All right. Guys, it's Nick Brumley week here on the Boston Chris podcast, and man, I'll tell you what, dude, it's been a long time since Nick and I have seen each other, but we've been friends for over 10 years, I think, right?
It's been a while. I think the first time I met you was at that winery in Harleton.
Yeah, I think so.
What was that?
Enoch Stomp.
Enoch Stomp. Yeah. And because I had heard of you for a while through a lot of the East Texas writers, and then when you came out, and I think it was you. I think your mother was with you too.
Yeah, I think so.
But
Yeah.
that was cool.
But yeah, Nick has been one of my favorite songwriters for a really, really long time. And of course, I mean, we had him on the old podcast, but I had to update everything because we have a new format, and so stoked to have Nick here, just a longtime friend. And our icebreaker question is, what are your favorite drinks right now, Nick? What you been drinking lately?
Right now, Topo Chico.
Yeah,
I'm actually like I think it's been 10 days. I haven't drank in 10 days. So I needed to dry out a little bit because we were on the road for almost 2 months straight. And it finally caught up to me. And I was like, I'm going to take a little break, you know. I'm not done forever. But
yeah, you have to re-energize, right? Like, that can really tear you up, especially creatively.
It is, you know, for me, it was, it got to where I was so eroded physically and mentally.
Yeah.
To where I just felt like I could never catch up. So, it was good. I needed a break. And, after 10 days, I mean, I'm actually thinking clearer.
Yeah.
Like,
it's could be kind of scary, huh?
It's very scary. Like, I get very OCD when I'm sober.
Yeah.
So I'm like looking around the house trying to fix everything. And
I understand that. Yeah, you're on the road a long time like that, man. You can kind of feel like you're going through the motions a lot too, and just mailing it in, and that's never good, right?
Yeah, you just kind of get in this. I mean, certain routines are good, but a routine like, you wake up, you hair the dog, and then you go at it, but you're not going to bed till 3, and then you're waking up at 8 to get out of a hotel. And
yeah.
It's just after 7 weeks of that, it's at least for me. I mean, I know some people that are just machines that can do it.
Mm-mm.
And I tried to be that machine. I'll be 40 in 2 weeks, so I think it's time for me to,
dude, I can't imagine how y'all do it.
I
can't imagine. My wife and I just went to Hot Springs for one night. Like, literally, it's the first time we've been lodging outside of the house in maybe I don't know, 2 or 3 years, and just
Hmm.
being out until 2 or 3 in the morning, and then having to check out by 11, like just once and one
Uh-huh.
time, like I was,
And then you're down for like 3
it
days.
took,
You know,
yeah, dude. Like we got home, and I felt like I needed a vacation from the vacation.
from the vacation.
Yeah,
Yeah, I hear
yeah.
that.
So I wanted to talk before we got into kind of in-depth stuff, where you came from and all that. The latest single that you have out right now is called "Unholy Definition of Goodbye." Right? Is that the
Hmm.
latest? Tell
That's
us
the
a little bit
latest.
about this song, man.
Oh man, that song, I wrote it back during COVID. And that was one, you kind of need to write those certain songs that help you get through a situation
Yeah,
and it's more therapeutic. And for me, that was it. And it helped me really, really helped me let go of a situation I really needed to let go of. I've been holding on to for quite, probably 5 years too long.
hmm,
And then wrote that song. And, once I sang it for the first time all the way through, I just felt like this weight come off of me. Like it was awesome, and just kind of set on it. And then we had some. Presley was in the studio and had it for a week, and then she had like a day or two because we got done with the studio early, so we had 2 days just to mess around. And I was like, well, I got one, and we all just got in there and had fun
yeah,
and got that song. Super proud of it. I didn't really do a lot of promoting on it because I just didn't know quite how to. Because I mean, it's a very different sound.
yeah.
There were 5 of us in there just throwing in all our different ideas, which I love. The guys, that was in there. I mean, Presley was in there. Race Ricketts, I'm sure you've heard of
I
him,
love Race. Yeah,
and Niles Robakowitz, and then Pat Mansky, who was the engineer and played drums on it. And we were all just having fun with it. We weren't taking it too serious, and I'm real happy with how it came out. And I'm happy that we can't really throw it in a genre. We can't really
yeah,
define what it is. It's just the song.
yeah.
That's
It's
what I'm
not
doing.
it's not typical Nick Brumley. Like it's different,
It
right?
yeah, it's because we doubled all the vocals. It almost sounds auto-tuned, but it's not. Like they're double vocaled.
Yeah,
And but that part was fun too. Like it made the harmonies even bigger. And we got to play different instruments that we don't ever usually play.
yeah,
I mean, it was just a fun experience, and for me, I really saw what we can do as a group if we all decided to do because we've all been flirting with the idea of doing a group
Oh
album,
man, I hope you guys do that. That'll be
and
freaking amazing.
I saw it firsthand of what could come out of it, and I was super happy and proud to be a part of it, and I was honored for the first time for us to all be in one room cutting one of our songs. It was mine,
Yeah,
that was a cool
that's
feeling.
hard to do when you guys all have your separate touring dates and places to
It
be and
is.
stuff. Yeah,
Luckily, a lot of these festivals and events we play at are, we're all on the same bill, so we're
yeah,
still able to play together. And we do get booked here and there to do our group.
yeah.
It was a trio, now it's a quartet since Niles is in the mix now, which he's putting out a EP October 18th.
Nice.
So, but yeah, I gotta get you hooked up with Niles and get you hooked up with Race.
Yes, please do. Yeah, I would love to chat with both of them. I hadn't heard of Niles, but I'll definitely look him up. I'm a huge fan of Race Ricketts, so
I'll send you some of Niles' stuff. He's got a few stuff out there right now.
yeah, sure.
No.
Let's talk a little bit about where you grew up, where you came from. I've always been kind of, I guess, confused because I know that you have roots in both Marshall and Shreveport. So, which one do you claim as your hometown, or do you claim
Oh
both?
man, it's funny. I always tell people I'm from Marshall because it's easier.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier. But I was actually born in Midland,
Okay.
and before I was even one, we moved to I think like Louisville, and then I went to high school. Like my elementary, middle school, high school was in Farmersville, Texas,
Okay.
and then I moved to Marshall. Went to ETBU,
Yeah.
and that's where I started playing music. So that was like the whole like a rebirth really,
Okay.
and what I've done since 2004. So I've been doing it for
21 years.
21 years.
That's half your
And
life now, man.
that's why I claim Marshall, because that
Yeah.
was where that rebirth happened. And I didn't start playing, I guess, quote unquote professionally till like 2007, but I started learning how to play in 2004. And then Shreveport came along. Man, I met these guys. They came into Marshall to play a show, a band called the Lackadaisies, and I thought it was the best band I had ever heard. And I was like, I got to meet these guys. I got to make them my friend because they knew they were so knowledgeable with music, and I thought the writing was great, and they were such great players. And I was like, I got to surround myself around that. And I basically moved to Shreveport for 10 years. I couch surfed for
Yeah.
10 years.
Yeah.
And just made sure I was around one of those guys at all times so I could learn and soak in as much as I could. And I love Shreveport. Like Shreveport, to me, of all the cities I've played and been in, it's the most talent in one place I've ever been a part
It's
of.
very genre fluid too, unlike a lot of places in Texas, right? Like there's a lot
Yeah,
of different genres.
there's so many. I mean, and even when I saw and it's still really cool. When I go back and play Shreveport, a lot of like the punk rock scene guys like
Yeah.
love songwriting,
Mhm.
or like the metal guys, or girls, they all just everybody supported each other, and there's so many different genres, and like it's a cliche to call it just this huge pot of gumbo, musical gumbo, but that's what it is,
It
and
is.
everybody gets
Absolutely.
along.
Yep.
There's no like rivalries, or there's no fights or competition. It's just everybody's respecting each other's art and what they're putting out there for the world to hear forever. It's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
So back in 2004, when you're starting this thing, man, what's kind of the motivation to even start playing? Why did you want to start?
Well, I had a friend of mine who was playing in church, and I would go watch him lead worship and stuff, and I thought that was pretty cool. And he was like, "Hey, you mind learning? I'll teach you some chords, so I don't have to go play by myself." And I was like, "Sure." So he taught me, your G, C, D, E minor, which is the worship leader for dummies. Just those
Yeah.
4 chords. And I learned that, and through learning those chords, I just kind of ran with it. Met a guy who lives in Shreveport. He lived in Marshall at the time, but he started showing me all this great music. He was the first person to show me the Hank Williams of the world. Like, and diving into that, I was like, oh, I already know these chords. So then you start learning those songs, and then you start deep diving in who they influenced. It's just this huge rabbit hole I went into, and I love history. I love learning about where what influenced other artists, and through that, I met another guy who taught me about Guy Clark and the Townses and the Blaze Foleys and Lucinda Williams, and he also loved Led Zeppelin, Led Zeppelin's still my favorite rock band of all time,
Yeah.
even though they did steal a bunch of stuff, but like I still, it gives me this feeling like I can run through a wall. But yeah, it just started with a friend teaching me a few chords so he didn't have to play by himself.
So I mean, you're learning about these incredible songwriters from Hank and Guy Clark, Townes Van Zandt, and all of these guys. Is that what's kind of inspiring you to become a songwriter yourself? Because like, there's a difference between being a musician and learning songs from other people, but then writing songs is a whole different environment, right?
It was, when I first started learning how to play, when he showed me those chords, I mean, John Mayer was big back then. So anybody at any private Baptist school that wasn't playing, Christian music was learning any Dave Matthews or John Mayer, Jason Mraz or anything like that. But I thought, it wasn't reachable. I thought creating from nothing, something I could never do. And then one day it clicked. One day I was like, oh, you can do this. And I would just start throwing melodies and words together. And of course, it's just god awful stuff.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know. But it was fun. And and I really thought I had something going because I had written a bunch of stuff, and there wasn't a lot of people around to, I guess, kind of water the plant to grow. It was just, there wasn't a lot of influences around that really wrote until I got to Shreveport and saw like, I don't know what I'm doing. And that's why I stayed over there to learn from these guys. And then that's when I think I really started to blossom more as a songwriter. I mean, I still have so much to learn. The more places we go and play and people we meet and hear their songs, it's just, I always love to continue to get my, just jaw dropped and my eyes opened and, being forced to go back to the drawing board. Because I think if you get comfortable, then you ought to just stop.
Yeah, you've always been a sponge, man. I know that about you. You've always been kind of a sponge and wanting to learn. You said that you're, into history. I've known that about you. You're doing your research, and I've heard some incredible songs from you that, were covers that I would have never guessed were covers. Really obscure songs. I know you know what I'm talking about. Like back in
Right.
the day, you would just experiment with songs and stuff like that. So I know I know that you're sponging and all of that. One of the things that I've always really loved about you, Nick, in your songwriting is your ability to kind of put emotionally charged songs together, right? Things that you've lived, making people feel stuff, right? And I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like that is kind of the reason for songwriting and for creating is to make somebody feel. How did you get to that place? Is that natural for you, or is that something you had to work on over time?
It was natural because, I always wrote what I knew. And whether that was like, the cliche thing is like a breakup or I got my heart broke, those, seem to be the easier ones.
Yeah.
I've always found that love songs are the hardest ones to write because they're the most honest.
Mhm.
And there's a fine line between a love song and really good or corny. Like it's, there's just a really fine line in between the two. But, I do feel it did come natural, because I didn't. Some people are great storytellers, that are able to, write like basically a short story that they didn't experience, but it still makes you feel something.
Sure.
But that's what good music is. I think it makes you feel, whether it makes you dance, that's a feeling, feeling happy, dancing, and,
Mhm.
feeling sorrow or lonesomeness or, love. I mean, even hate's an emotion. And, but yeah, I think you got to write with feel.
Well, you used to
And I think-
you used to joke all the time on stage back when I knew you that
Oh, yeah.
you didn't know how to write anything but a sad song, right?
Well, that was, I mean, that wasn't a joke. That was just kind of the truth. Because at the time, it was, I did go through some dark times.
Yeah.
And I always went back to writing the sad stuff because, I was just able to do it. I'm not going to say it was easy. It was just, I just had this, I don't know, I wouldn't call it a demon, but this dark spot. And I always resorted to writing these darker songs until 2020. Like 2020 really got me out of that funk. Well, meeting Presley actually got me out of that.
Yeah, I was going to talk about that because like the latest record, Circus, is there's some joy in that record.
That actually put a love song on our
Yeah.
album.
Yeah.
So that was inspired by her. So
Yeah.
that was nice to put that.
We
in
had
there.
the record scratch moment, me and my wife, on that song in the car when we heard it for the first time. With the like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Did Nick
Wait.
Brumley write a joyful song?
It's awesome. Well, I'm glad you were listening.
Yeah.
Paying attention. That's great.
Yeah, man, I love the record. We'll talk about that a little bit more here in a minute. I want to hear you talk about. Well, you did talk about therapy and the therapeutic nature of songs when you were talking about your latest single, and I know that's been part of your songwriting process over the years. Do you feel like the reason why you kind of do that and write a therapeutic song? Do you feel like it's because maybe you owe the music something because the music is helping you through a time?
Man, I'm glad you brought that up because I've been saying this to young artists that are getting involved. Because since we moved farther west over here in Texas, I mean, it's a thriving songwriting scene and a lot of young artists that are coming up. And I always try to tell them that music doesn't owe you anything.
Yeah.
Like it's what you do. Like look at music as like it's a gift from above, like almost like a demigod. And it's like, what can you give to music? What can you give to music? It doesn't owe you anything. Don't take anything from it. like leave something behind that represents music in a good way. And so yeah, I feel like definitely anything I sit down and try to write, like it's to pay homage to what music is, and hopefully people get that, understand it in a way.
Yeah. I love that you're teaching that to other people. Who better, right? I mean, that's awesome. Giving back.
Thank
and
you.
Yeah, for sure. I love that because a lot of times I just had someone on the show recently, music literally saved him from death. He lost his dad at a young age, and he started songwriting, and that's what saved him. And
Was it JD?
it was not. No, it was not.
Oh, was it?
No. But yeah, I won't name names. People will know who it is if they watch every show. But yeah, it saved him. And by the end of the show, we learned that moment in his life, which was the worst moment of his life, also became the best moment of his life because it started him on the path to where he ended up. And just cool stuff like that is what I love about telling these stories. Let me ask you this, because you have been doing this semi-professionally now since '07, so we'll say 18 years. How do you think you've evolved as an artist over that time?
Oh man, it's almost like a book that's not even finished. I kind of look at each phase as different chapters of a book that's still being written, and I'm probably on chapter 12, but like it's still evolving. Meeting Presley just started a whole new chapter, and I found my spot or my place, not just helping in a way. Like I don't have to be up front. Like I help with writing, and then I play banjo or mandolin for her, or if she needs a bass player, I play bass. And then meeting Race, like I'm his bass player in his band. Like I've learned to be not only a writer but a musician. And it's funny, like you could call I could call myself a musician because I get up there and sing and play guitar, but I've really saw the growth in playing these different instruments in different situations, and I very blessed to be able to do that. And we have the group that offers that.
Man, I love
It's
these
it's
answers, dude. As long as I've known you, you've always been either a solo player, or B, the front man of a band. I've never known you to be, a musician in a band. So I guess the question here is, now that you're doing that kind of stuff, kind of taking a backseat to other people and playing bass, being harmony, all of that, is that a growth process for you as well? Kind of taking a step back and stepping out of the spotlight.
uh yeah, I mean growth in a positive way.
Sure, yeah.
Like I don't feel like I'm less than or being demoted in any way. Like to me, like for me it feels like a huge promotion because I get to use parts of my brain I
I
don't get
love
to
that.
use when I'm just sitting around playing guitar. Because sometimes uh, it gets kind of lonely up there by yourself, you
Absolutely.
know, and sometimes it gets very stressful
It's a
leading a
lot of
band.
pressure, right? Because if
A
you,
lot of pressure.
yeah,
And then being able to now, it's really cool to I can kind of pick and choose what I want to do on any given night. I can go play banjo with Presley, or her and I can do a song swap, or I can go play bass with Race, or I can go get my own gig, or I can call up the guys and we can go do a band
yeah,
show. And I got options, which is I'm very blessed to be able to do that, and I'm glad
variety.
I'm variety, and
Yeah,
I'm happy I'm able to help my people in that way. If they need me, like I'm here. Like, what do you need me for?
I love
Like,
that, man. Good for you.
well, thank you,
Yeah,
Chris.
sure, absolutely. So you talked about moving west, and I got to tell you the truth, man. I was a little upset about this move.
Oh man.
Because
I
again,
don't, I don't, I
I
don't, I don't think you were the only one.
Yeah, I'm not bullshitting when I say that Nick Brumley is one of my favorite songwriters, and there's a lot of talent here in East Texas, but not a whole lot of really good songwriters here. It's getting better. I'm happy to say it is getting better. But so Nick moved to Hamilton, Texas. I'm pretty sure I know why you moved. It was probably because of Presley, right? To be closer to her.
She had a big part in that.
Yeah. But my question for you is how has that move benefited you from a musical sense?
Light years. Because, as much as I love East Texas and still love East Texas, the opportunities of places to play for songwriters are very slim. And I don't think, there's one thing I did notice, especially when we had the Mansion family going on, is a lot of venues made more money off cover bands.
Yep.
So for us as an original band to go play these same venues, we didn't get paid near as much, and that's because we would bring true music fans, but there wasn't true music fans out there in East Texas. It's a small group, and they can't come out and see you every weekend. Everybody's got to watch their bank account, but you'd have a cover band come play, and the venue would pay them, $2,000 because they were probably selling 30 at the bar, and we'd come in and they're like, oh, all we can do is $500, but you got to play for 4 hours.
Yep.
That's kind of, and over here it's different. It's valued more. The art, the originality is valued more. I mean, what I got paid playing 3 hours over in East Texas, I can get for 30 minutes or 45 over here.
What do you think is the major reason for that? Do you think it's a listener problem? Is it an audience problem or a venue problem?
I think it's really like it's everything. Audience has a lot to do with it because some people like they know exactly what they want to hear. And as original artists, that gets hard because they'll come up and be like, "Hey, can you play that new top 40 song that's out?" And it's like, I haven't even heard what you're talking about.
Yep.
So that could be an issue. I don't think in venue settings, like I know there's one listening room there. I believe it's in Quitman.
Used to be.
It's not there anymore?
No. It is, but it isn't.
See, like, so the venue, choices of venue, I think is a problem. But why would somebody want to open up a listening room when there's only a handful of people that would go and appreciate it?
Exactly.
Because if you bring in the good writers, people that would draw, I mean, that does cost. So your door charge is going to be more, and a lot of people can't afford 50, and sometimes 25 at the door.
Yeah. They do have a place in Winsboro called the Bowery. That's
okay. I have heard. That's Kenny.
Kevin. Yeah,
Kevin.
Kevin.
Yeah.
Kevin Tinney. You combined his first and last name.
Yeah, that's. Yeah. I did do that. Edit this part out.
No, we will not. But yeah, no. They have really good songwriters there. They've had Adam Carroll was there this year. John Fulbright, Radney Foster. So and it's a solo duo kind of listening room environment, which is dope. I'm at every
that's
show.
That's great.
Yeah,
that's exactly what East Texas needs more of.
I agree, 100%. Yeah, good stuff. So I don't have any notes here on Presley, so we'll call this by ear. How did you meet Presley?
I met her right before the pandemic. A buddy of ours, a mutual friend, whom Presley and I didn't even know of each other at the time, but we had this mutual friend who had a ranch in Mullen, Texas, which is, I consider it like on the cusp of West and Central Texas. It's about 5.5 hours west of Marshall.
Okay.
It's good haul. About 2 hours west of Waco. But right before we were about to go out there, like they hired me out to come out there and play some music because they were having a get together, and they're like, "Oh, by the way, we got this girl coming to sing too." And at first I was like, "Man, all right, I guess I have to split my pay. and and they sent me some videos, and I didn't watch them at first. And then I was like, all right, I'm gonna go check this out. And then I heard her sing. I was like, oh no, like I got to bring out the big guns now.
Yep.
And so we went out there to play, and I met her, and we started singing. And a lot of the songs that she sang, like cover songs, like I knew. And so we just started playing and singing together, and it was a ball. Like we had a blast. And then the next day, she came back out, and a big group of us went riding around, and then we did like a little song swap, just had a good time playing music. And then I was like, hey, if you ever want to come east or come to Shreveport, man, I'll hook you up if you want to travel and play. And she's like, oh, thanks. And I thought, you never know if you see these people again.
Right.
And nor did we know the world was going to shut down. So literally I left that weekend. When I got back that Monday, Louisiana and Arkansas had shut down.
Wow.
And that was 75% of my gigs. Now, mind you, I had just released My Thoughts, My Mom's Guitar, and Daddy's Heart. I just released that album, and I had 2020 almost fully booked up to tour it. And then in 2 days, everything was just gone.
Yep.
And that record never got promoted. But once Texas shut down, my buddy called me who owned the ranch, and he's like, well, I know you're out of a job. Why don't you just come back out to the ranch? And I was like, I will. So I packed a bag to last me about a week and got my dog. We loaded up in the Yukon. We took off to Mullen, the Stone Creek Ranch, and I stayed out there for over a month, just kind of hunkering down. And that's when Presley would start coming out, and we started writing and playing together. And if it wasn't for Facebook Live and Presley Haile, I wouldn't have survived the pandemic.
Wow.
Financially. Because Presley, the farther west you went, the less the bars kind of didn't care, so they stayed open. And she still had work, and so she kind of hired me on as a guitar player, or she would hire me on to do like a song swap, and that's how I was able to survive, thanks to her. And then once the loophole they found a loophole or changed the law, I guess, like if bars sold 51% food,
Mm-hmm.
then they were able to stay open. So that's how East Texas and Shreveport got to be open. And so I was able to bring her over to Marshall and Shreveport in mid-June. And then we started hitting the road. We played at least 4 or 5 gigs a week for a year and a half. We just took off and
Good
didn't
stuff.
look back.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to hear you talk about, because you just said that you guys were writing songs together pretty early on. So, like, organically speaking, was that the puzzle pieces just fit immediately, or?
Somewhat. I mean, there was some kind of she was eager to learn, and she had just been getting into writing for, I think she was in year 3, and one of the reasons why I wanted to bring her east was because I knew some great songwriters like Meredith Crawford, Cole Allen, and then Shreveport filled with so many of them, especially my buddy Mus Gillum, and then my buddy in Arkansas, Brian Martin. I was like, man, I got to introduce you to these guys, because you'll I think once you meet them and hear their songs and they'll explain to you their point of view on writing, like it's gonna click for you. Like you'll find kind of your way, and it did. It worked, and she's written some amazing
Incredible
songs
shit, yeah.
since
Oh my God.
2020, and it was, it's not like we planted it in her. I mean, she soaked it up, but it was already inside her. I think she just needed the egg, needed a little. It's like a chicken being hatched from an egg. Sometimes you gotta help with the shell just a little bit, and then they'll
Have
get
to unlock it, man, right? You just need to turn
Yeah.
the key. Yeah.
And she did it, man. She is still doing it, doing
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, good stuff, man. I wanted to talk about the record before we get into our fun segments here. Because, again, man, when Circus came out, I was so freaking proud of you. It's honestly your best work yet. I think you know that already. But
Thank you,
What a
man.
great record, man. Every song on the record is amazing. I wanted to talk about, from your standpoint, kind of being in the studio, because I feel like there's two different sides of the creative process to a song. There's writing it from a blank page, and then there's fleshing it out in the studio. And you can be incredibly creative on both sides of that. So when you're in the studio, how hands-on are you in the creative process of bringing that song home?
Depends on the studio, really. Because I've worked in a couple. Now the Circus album, the way we did that was we went mobile. So the guy that recorded it, his name's Michael Stevens, and he engineered it. And he brought his board and 2-inch tape machine up to Hot Springs, Arkansas, and we went to the drummer's house, Jeremy Gibson, and we just set up there for 3 days and knocked it out. At least got the foundation of the record. And working with those guys, I mean, they're such professionals. I mean, they work out of Muscle Shoals all the time. But, you know, Jeremy Gibson, the drummer, he had some of those songs he never heard before, and we only went through them like twice. And so, and now the creative freedom, I mean, the songs were already written, so that wasn't, you know, it was more just getting the parts down.
Yeah.
But then, I trust Michael Stevens so much, is once we get drums, guitar, and bass down, he kind of takes it to his little laboratory there back in Shreveport and puts on the keys and the extra guitars. And then there was one day we had to go to Shreveport, and Dave Perez of the Tejas Brothers, he came and did some accordion, and Race came and did some harmonies, and Brian came in and played some percussion, and Buddy Logan Hall played steel. But, you know, for that, you know, I'm kind of like, I don't like to control anybody's creative outlet. Like, I'm not going to tell somebody what they need to play. But I will choose the players I play with because I trust them.
Incredible stuff. Yeah. So how important is it to you from that standpoint, being in the studio? Are you thinking about this, basically? And that is replicating it live. Because typically nowadays you are a solo act. You're playing alone out a lot of the times. So replicating those songs live has to be pretty important as well, right? So are you thinking about that from a studio standpoint?
I should be, but I don't. I mean, I should be. Like, I try to have as much fun in the studio as I can. And there is, you know, there is something too, like, you know, like we've been fortunate enough for Larry Joe Taylor to take us under his wing. And he's that's one of the many lessons he's taught us. He's like, when you go in the studio, make sure you can, you know, reenact that live.
Yeah.
But I had recorded Circus before I met Larry. I got that advice, so that's how I'm going to get away with it. But I think it is important. But I mean, I haven't even tried to put a band together to even do that album yet, because, you know, everyone else keeps me so busy, which I'm okay with. It's, you know, I'm not gonna lie. There are times where I'm like, I kind of miss like playing. Like,
Yeah,
I
but you
kinda
don't
wanna
have to
be on
share
the
money
stage,
either,
but-
right? You don't.
Yeah, I know. That's the important part. We got all these chickens now. I gotta pay for.
Don't forget, I used to book for you, man. I know how this works.
That's true. That's very true. Yeah, you know, I don't. It's I think it is important to be able to, you know, recreate that on stage. But, you know, drummers are hard to come by.
Yeah. Good
Drummers,
ones,
so we're-
especially.
Good drummers, ones that are on time.
Yeah.
Like, not only drumming, but
Both
you know,
ways.
showing up
Both ways. Yeah.
And then, you know, fiddle players, you know, the good ones are already playing, you know, with big acts.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, you know, it's tough. It's tough to find the players, but
Well,
but
go ahead.
well, go ahead.
I
I
was-
was going to say, just as, you know, as songwriters, I don't think you need much. You just need the guitar and the story.
Yep. Yep.
So
One of the best storytellers around too is Nick Brumley, and super stoked to have him here. Again, we're gonna do our having fun segments now. A lot of folks will tune into this area straight from our timestamp, and we just recently started having the artist, the guest, choose some of these segments. So this will be a lot of fun. The first one, I want you to choose either "Did you know" or "Fun."
fun.
All right, fun is what hobbies do you have outside of music?
Ooh, uh, love fishing, and that might be a cliche answer, but Presley and I really enjoy fishing together. We do a lot of fishing, and really, since I moved out here, I don't go out much or at all. So
You
we
haven't
do
had
stuff
time
here.
to, man. You're always on the
Well,
road.
there's that, but usually when I lived in Marshall, when I was home, like I was always at the bar,
Yeah.
like always at the bar. And now, like we're home, and like here lately, like I've been having a blast. Like we're enclosing the chicken area, so they're not walking around crapping on all over the concrete.
Yeah.
And I've enjoyed doing that and turning the garage into my little studio workplace. I've just enjoyed, I guess, grown up stuff. I've really enjoyed that. And then, we always talk about going playing putt putt, but we just
You
haven't
just
had
never
time to
do.
go do it.
Oh, man, that's not
You
a
know,
priority. Get out of here with that.
that's true.
All
That's
right.
true. And I don't know if it'll be as fun if I'm not drinking right now.
No, probably
either.
not. You're trying to hit a ball through a clown's mouth. You're going to need at least a fifth of something, right?
Fifth of something for sure.
All right. Next one's called Impactful. This is kind of a new segment. Can you tell us three people that really impacted your life in some way, and then tell us the number one thing you learned from each of those people?
Oh man, there's so many. There's so many. Well, I will start with my mom. She's just so brutally honest with me, like in a loving way, and she never takes side. I mean, uh, she likes to hear both sides of the story before she gives me kind of what she thinks about a situation. So if I was like upset with somebody and she's like, "Well, what did you do?" She never goes like,
Mhm.
"Well," she's great insight, and she always gives great. Uh, she's just full of info. She gives great advice. She's the strongest person I know. She's been through cancer. She's been through, she my dad, like she lost her husband when I was in her belly, and got through that. And she actually just got out of the hospital last week and was never scared, not one bit. And we're all freaking out, but she was just like, "It's gonna be fine. I'll be fine." I think she liked the attention. So that's one. Uh, Two, I'm gonna say is a combination of. There's a group of people in Marshall that really helped me out in a lot of different ways, but they all loved me for who I was and took me in and took care of me. Michael Madewell being one of them, Pap Watson being one of them. Pap showed me a lot of music. Michael Madewell taught me a lot about being a man. Uh, them two for sure. So, and just the people of Marshall, when nobody wanted to listen to my stuff, there were people in Marshall that just couldn't wait to show up to OS2 to hear a song.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and they always gave good advice too. Third, for sure, 100% Presley. I mean, she came into my life where I really needed it, and kind of showed me what it was like to think outside of myself, and made life a lot more fun living, you know. So not that I was just like, "Oh, woe is me, I'm done with this life," kind of thing, but like it gave, I don't know, she showed me what purpose is and gave me a great purpose, and she inspires me every day, every day, to be a better person and a better artist. All the above.
Yeah, a good woman will do that, man. You and I were both.
Yeah, that's
You
for
and I were
sure.
both lucky in that for sure.
Yes, sir.
All right, next one. Choose either Mount Rushmore or one artist.
I'm gonna say Mount Rushmore.
All right, who is on Nick Brumley's Mount Rushmore of songwriters?
Songwriters, Texas, or
Just all genres.
oh man, that's so broad. I'll stick with Texas.
Okay.
But you know what? I won't. I won't stick with Texas. I think I got my four. Because I'm gonna look at it as like most influential,
Sure.
at least for me. I guess this is kind of an opinionated question,
Subjective anyway, so.
subjective. Guy Clark for sure. Larry Joe Taylor.
Wow.
I think people need to deep dive into his stuff more because he
Absolutely.
has some phenomenal. One of my favorite songs, top 5 songs of all time, is called "The Old Screen Door," and it's a remarkable song. And what he's done for Texas music in the past 40 years, he's helped so many young artists get to where they are. I think Larry Joe Taylor should be up there. Lead Belly, 100% Lead Belly. I think he's the greatest rock and roll songwriter of all time because everybody covered his stuff.
Yep.
Um, and then the last one, ooh, let's see. I don't want to say Towns because it's too typical, but I'll say Hank Williams. I think that's a good 4. Those are 4 pretty good heads up there on that mountain.
Yeah, I agree.
Hank Williams, Lead Belly, Larry Joe Taylor, and Guy Clark.
There you go. Love it. All right. Next one is called What the Heck. This is kind of like a game show. I'm just going to shoot 5 questions at you. The importance of this segment, though, is you have to tell me the first thing that hits your brain because these are kind of visual questions, okay?
Oh, can I cuss?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. All right. Number 1, which celebrity annoys you the most?
Charlie Sheen.
Okay. Number 2, what was your most awkward moment on stage?
I got told to play a song that I didn't want to play, and the group of guys were like, "Well, I got a buddy that can play it," and I was like, "All right, if he can do a better job than I can, he can get up here and play it." And he got up there, and he was terrible, but the whole bar went nuts, and I knew I had lost the crowd, and I was like, "I'm so embarrassed." And I'll never do that again. I'll never give up my guitar again.
All right. Number 3, what are you most afraid of?
The dark. Like I'm actually, I'm
Like
I'm
the
afraid
literal
of the
dark?
They have darkness. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I'm a night owl. Like going out at night,
Same.
that doesn't scare me. Like if I'm at the house and all the lights are off and it's dead quiet, like I don't like the silence. I don't like the dark. I don't.
Well,
like
maybe it's the
dark.
silence you're afraid of, not so much the dark.
So maybe it is. That's a better answer. I think silence. I am
Yeah.
very afraid of silence.
There you go. All right. Number 4, what happens if you get scared half to death twice?
You die.
You think so?
That's a fool, right?
No, I don't think that's true, though. I think if you get scared half to death, you still have 50% life, right? And if you get half to death again, you're still 25% life.
Half and half is a whole.
No. Because you have half left. So half of that half is 25.
Oh, so it goes back. Oh man, I don't know, man. You just blew my damn mind. You blew my mind.
All right, number 5. Let's see here. Which superpower do you wish you had?
Oh man, as a traveling musician, teleportation.
That would be
Because-
brilliant. Yes.
Because driving, having these 6-hour drives, it's like, oh man, sound check's at 4. I'm at the house.
Yeah, but think about all that writing you get done when you're on the road.
I mean, I don't do a lot of riding on the road.
Really? Okay.
Like I like to ride in silence, and I'm with my thoughts, thinking about the night before or what I'm about to do. And I do most of my writing when I'm at home. Sometimes in a hotel room, but like when I'm at home in my comfort zone.
Cool. All right, next segment is choose either bucket list or fly on the wall.
Oh, those are two good ones. Because I feel like I know what the question would be. I'll do fly on the wall.
All right, in all of history, which room do you wish you were a fly on the wall in?
So many. So many. There's a story of because Guy and Towns. Let's see, Guy came home or something. I don't know. Towns and Susanna had been at the house, and they were just going after Guy. And he was like, you know what, screw y'all. And he locked himself in one of their rooms and boarded it up. Like boarded up so they couldn't get in. And he wrote the song "Let 'Em Roll," which is on his first record. It's the last track, which it's my favorite Guy Clark song of all time. And I wish I would have been a fly on the wall to hear what kind of shit they had said to him to make him so inspired to board himself into a room and write such a remarkable song.
Incredible stuff, man. All right, next segment, choose either biggest lesson or moment of gravity.
Moment of gravity.
All right, so moment of gravity is kind of we can look back in our lives and see that one moment in time that led us on the path to where we ended up. Can you kind of see what that moment was for you?
At the very beginning of music?
Just however you see it.
When I graduated high school and then moved to Marshall and you're kind of just on your own, that's when I realized I had to figure out something. And I'm glad my buddy wanted to teach me a few chords because that's what gravitated to where I am now. You know, giving myself an open mind to learning something new. Just because, you know, I didn't know what the hell I was going to do. I mean, I didn't even want to go to college, but I was there. And then he showed me guitars, and that became the best lesson I've ever learned.
Good stuff. All right, next one is called Grateful. What are the three things you think you are the most grateful for?
Music. Just what it is as a whole. Very thankful for music. You know, I'm thankful for this is going to sound, I don't know, cheesy or not, but for hearing. A lot of people don't, there are people out there that can't hear. And, you know, having ears is a big part of, you know, learning and music for sure, getting to hear that. But like, you know, I you know, sometimes I deserve the chewing outs I get, you know, and I wouldn't be able to hear them or learn from them if I didn't have ears, you know. So,
well, it makes sense from somebody who's afraid of the silence.
yeah, it's true. Yeah. Well, and then, you know, the friends I have. You know, I can't pinpoint one because I have so many. I'm blessed with so many good ones. Just great friends that have been with me ever since I've met them. Whether it was 15 years ago, 4 years ago, or 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
You know, I've got good ones, and I'm very thankful for that.
Good stuff. All right, last segment could be the hardest one for you to answer. It's very self-reflective. It's called, Who Do You Think You Are? Who is Nick Brumley?
I think I am I'm a people pleaser. I'm a people pleaser, but I've learned to minimize who I please, and I want to be a tool for my friends to use in whatever art or creative outlet they're trying to you know, put out there. I would be honored to help them. That's who I am. I'm a helper, I guess.
I love that, man. Nick Brumley, I appreciate you being here, and just for your friendship over the years, for for the music, of course. And I'm just a huge fan of yours, always have
Well,
been.
thanks.
And
Well, thanks for sticking around. You know, it's been a long ride. Thanks
of course,
for
we need to
hanging
get
in
you,
there with me.
we need to get you back east though, so we can have a beer together or something.
Yeah, let's do that for
Yeah.
sure.
So for those that do not know who you are or whatever, what would you tell them is the best way for them to support you as an artist?
Come to a show. You know, that's the typical way. You can follow me on Instagram at Brumdog Millionaire,
Mhm.
and that's the social media I use most because I mean it posts right through Facebook. So
Yep.
you can Facebook or Instagram is the best way to get a hold of me or to follow me, and you know, I'll be with anytime you see Presley or Race playing, I'm probably going to be with one of them.
Yeah. Nick,
So,
thank you so much for doing this, man. I appreciate you.
thank you, Chris, and man, look forward to seeing you, man. Thanks for having me on.
For sure.
Hey, this is Jan Buckingham, and thank you for tuning in to the Boston Chris Show.
It's